All right, pay attention, bro. This this is study guide. Yeah, this is your quiz 5 study guide. So pay attention. And here's number 1. The vertices of the triangle PQR. Name the vertices of the image reflected across the x-axis. All right, look. When you are reflecting across the x-axis, your x's stay the same. Your y's become opposite. So you've got P at -2, -5, Q, -2, 1, and R is at 7, 6. So the rule is your x's stay the same. So P prime is at -2, but now +5. And Q prime is at -2, but now -1. And R prime is at 7, -6. And that's your translation across the x-axis. And number 2, you see, you just got to look at the images, okay? Number 2 says to name the image of FC. Well, do you see FC? It's that bottom side. What does that correspond to in the picture on the right? T to S or S to T. Good. Number 3 asks you to name the image of angle F. Well, angle F, what does that correspond to in the image on the right? Look at it again. It's angle S.
How come that P
How come the P, you mean P and P prime?
Yeah.
Because this is the pre-image. This is the image after the translation. That's what that little prime symbol means. Now, in number 4, I can't get this graph to come up on my computer, so you have to count boxes. Find the translation rule that describes the translation from B to D. So it's going to look like this. For every XY, the X's. Now, be careful on this quiz tomorrow, because these graphs, each box is 2 units, horizontally and vertically. So do you see where B is? It's at -3, -8. We got to go to D. So when you go to D, you're going to go to the right 3 and 4 more. You're going to go to the right 7. You see that? On your study guide, you're going right 7. And then you're going up 2 units, because each box is 2. Y'all see that? So if we're going right 7, that is x plus 7. If we're going up 2, that's y plus 2. Number 5. For number 5, you have to find the image of C under the translation described by x plus 4 is to the right 4. So you're going to find point C on the graph. You're going to go to the right 4 places with your pencil. And then you're going to go up 5 places. And what point are you on? Great, you're on point E. Can you guys do that? Alright, good. Number 6. Use a translation rule to describe the translation. 10 left, 9 up. So here's what it looks like. For every XY, we're going to translate it. 10 to the left, so it's going to be x minus 10. 7 up, that's your y. That's y plus, 9 up, y plus 9. And number 7. Use the translation rule to describe the translation that is 5 left. So that's for every xy. We're going to move it. 5 left, that's x minus 5. 7 down, that's y minus 7. Then number 8 gives you the kind of the converse of that. They give you the rule that for every xy, we're going to take x minus 5 and y minus 1, and they ask you to describe in words the translation. This translation in words is left 5, down 1. Number 9. Jessica was sitting in seat B10. She's sitting in B10 when she discovered her ticket was for G1. Write a rule to describe the translation needed to put her in her proper seat. She's got to get from B10 to G1. So your rule is this, that for every XY, the letter being your X's, the number being your Y's. So she's at B, but she needs to get to G. So B, C, D, E, F, G. So she's got to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, doesn't she? So she's got to go X plus 5 places. And then she's in seat 10, but she's got to get to seat 1. So do you go up or down? Yeah, you go down 9 seats. That puts her in her correct seat. There's your rule. X plus 5, Y minus 9. Alright, number 10. Number 10, you're going to need to graph this. Or I have to, anyway. Find the image of O after 2 reflections. So we got to do 2 reflections here. So we got a vertical and a horizontal. X, Y. Find the image of O. 3, negative 3. So if we're at 3 and negative 3, right here. First across the line, y equals 5. So here's y equals 5. Stop doing that, please. Here's your y equals 5 line. We got to reflect this point O across that line. And right now we are 8 units away from the line. From negative 3 to 5 is 8 units. So we need to be 8 units on the other side of the line. So that's going to put us up here at 5 plus 8, which is 13. So we're right here. First reflection. We went from 3, negative 3. We went over y equals 5. And we ended up at 3, 13. So this would be O prime. The second reflection is across x equals negative 5. So let's say this is x equals negative 5. So we got to get to the line of reflection, which is from +3 to -5, which is 8 units. So that means we got to go 8 more units to the other side of the line of reflection. So from -5 to the left, 8 more units, we're going to be at -13. So our O double prime, our X value is now -13. Our Y value is +13. So that's your location after 2 reflections. Y'all got it? Well, if not, this will be uploaded to YouTube. Number 11. Use the translation rule to describe the translation that is 6 right, 4 down. So that's for every x, y. 6 to the right means good, x plus 6. 4 down means good, y minus 4. Number 12, the vertices are P, -7, 2. Q, 5, -1. R, -7, 7. Name the vertices of the image reflected across the y-axis. So we're going across y-axis. When you go across the y-axis, it's just like going across the x-axis, but different. Remember what you wrote down earlier for number 1? For number 1, when you went across the x-axis, your x's stayed the same and you changed your y's, right? So when you're going across the y-axis, your x's become opposite, and your y's do what? They stay the same. So we go back to these points and our P prime, x goes to 7, y becomes or stays +2. Our Q prime, 5 becomes -5, y stays the same. R prime, x becomes +7, y stays the same. Those are the points of your vertices after a reflection across the y-axis. Are you not paying attention again while I'm doing the study guide, Alan? You're not writing anything down though. You are? What translation rule can be used to describe the result of the composition? You've got one translation that says for every x, y, that x is -8 and y is +8. Then you're going to move the shape again. And you're going to take x -2 and you're going to take y -9. And you're basically going to determine the result or the combination. So that combination or they call it composition. If you took your shape and you went 8 left and then you went 2 more to the left, what's the result? Yeah, 10 left. X minus 10. And then if you took your shape and you went up 8 units and then down 9 units, what's the result? Down 1, so y minus 1. There's your composition. In number 14, what image is the translation of ABC given by the rule? X minus 4 is left 4, y minus 4 is down 4. Agreed? So here's your points. Point A is at 0, 3. Point B is at 1, negative 1. And point C is at negative 3, 0. Here's your rule. For every xy, we're taking x minus 4 and y minus 4. So the new points after the translation are going to be A prime. Your 0 minus 4 is negative 4, and 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Your B prime, 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. And your C prime, negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So those are the coordinates of the image after that translation. In number 15, what is the rule that describes the translation from ABCD to A prime, B prime, C? Pick one point, count the boxes horizontally and then vertically that it moves, and then write the rule. Look, your rule is going to be in this form. For every xy, the x, what does A do in that picture? From A to A prime, it goes left 2. So that's x minus 2. And then from left 2, it goes down how many? It goes down 3, so it's going to be y minus 3. That's your rule. Be sure to remember that those boxes represent 2 units. Number 16, the vertices of the rectangle, RSTU. After translation, R is at 0.31. So look, you've got R. It starts off at negative 5, negative 5. They say that after a translation, R prime is at negative 1, negative 5. I'm sorry. R prime is at three, 1. So the first step in this problem is to determine the rule. Alright, if this shape had an x value at negative 5 and it moved to positive 3 on the number line, that's 8 to the right. And if it was at negative 5 and it moved to positive 1, your y's went up by 6. So you used the pre-image and the image to determine the rule. Second part of the question, find the translation rule and coordinates of u prime. So u is at -5, 1. So u prime, you're at -5 and you need to go up 8, or to the right 8. So that puts you back at 3. You're at 1 and you're going to go up 6. So that puts you at +7. They tell you that if you read the question, it says the vertices of the rectangle. See where point U is at -5, 1? So then you apply the rule to that point. Alright, and then number 17. Alright, you've written down a rule that if you go across the x-axis, you keep your x's the same, change your y's. If you go across the y-axis, you keep your y's the same and make your x opposites. Okay, this next one is when you reflect across this. Don't write this down, I just want to show it to you here. This line right here. This line is y equals x. When you reflect a point across that line, let me show you this. If we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, say we're at 5 and 1, 2. Say you got a point at 5, 2. Agreed? And we're going to reflect it across this line. Isn't it going to be right there? We started at 5, 2. We reflected across y equals x. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. Should have gone to there. That line wouldn't have been perpendicular. There we go. See that? So where are we at now? Now we're at 2, 5. So when you reflect across y equals x, what do you do to the coordinates? You just switch them, don't you? So look, you got P, 4, -1, Q, 5, 8, R, -1, -5. So P prime, we're going to switch them. -1, 4. Q prime, 8, 5. R prime, -5, -1. Got it? That's the conclusion, or that concludes your Quiz 5 study guide.